Have you ever had a moment where you thought, if I knew then what I know now? Life has a way of teaching us things over time, sometimes gently, sometimes through tough lessons. But what often gets missed are the quiet, slow mistakes, the ones that don't show up right away, but over time can affect your health, your happiness, and how independent you feel day to day. You might be surprised how common some of these are. Skipping a few checkups, pulling back from social plans, avoiding new things because they feel unfamiliar. None of it feels like a big deal at first. But these small habits can build up, and before you know it, they start closing doors that once felt wide open. In this video, we're going to go over 5 subtle but powerful mistakes that many people start to make in later years. These aren't dramatic, and they're not always easy to notice. But they do matter, and once you understand how they work, you'll see just how much you can still shape your own future. This isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about staying aware, staying in control, and refusing to give your best years away to things that can be prevented. And if something I say here really speaks to you, please share your thoughts in the comments. Someone else might be feeling the exact same thing, and hearing your words could help more than you know. Let's talk honestly. Let's talk practically. And let's start with one of the most overlooked mistakes of all. Mistake 1. Neglecting physical health. Let's talk about something that quietly slips away when we're not paying attention. Our physical health. Not because we mean to let it go, but because life gets in the way. The aches come more often, the energy dips a little lower, and before we know it, we start choosing comfort over effort. But here's the truth, and I say this with care. Movement is not optional if you want to stay independent. You might think slowing down is just part of the deal. But most of the time, it's not age, it's inactivity. When your legs aren't moving, they lose strength. When your joints don't bend, they stiffen. You've probably felt it. Getting out of a chair takes more effort. Balance feels shakier. That's not just getting older. That's your body asking for more use. And it's not just about muscles and bones. Skipping routine checkups? That's one of the riskiest things you can do. I know no one likes going to the doctor, but catching things early like high blood pressure, cholesterol, or prediabetes makes all the difference. These things don't always feel like anything at first. That's why they're called silent killers. Waiting until you feel terrible is often waiting too long. Let's not forget food. Your body doesn't process things the way it used to. You can't eat like you're 30 anymore, not because of weight, but because your nutrient needs are different. You need more protein to keep your muscles strong, more calcium to protect your bones, more fiber to keep things moving. Relying on frozen dinners or fast food might feel easy now, but it can take a toll down the line. And it's a slow toll, the kind you don't notice until energy drops, memory slips, or blood sugar creeps up. Let me tell you about Henry, 74, lived alone and hadn't been very active in years. He figured that slowing down was just natural. But then he fell. Nothing too serious, but enough to scare him. That moment lit a fire. He started walking for just 15 minutes a day, stretching, eating a little cleaner. A year later, his balance improved, he lost weight, and his words, he felt like himself again. It didn't take a gym or a special diet. Just small steps taken consistently. So if you've been telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, let today be the day. You don't need a complete overhaul. Start small. Walk around the block. Choose a fresh meal over a packaged one. Schedule that overdue checkup. These small actions are investments in your future self. Your body is still listening, it just needs you to speak up and show up. Mistake 2. Withdrawing from social life. It's easy to slip into the habit of staying in your own space, especially as time passes and life becomes quieter. It might feel more comfortable to stay home, but gradually, this isolation can have a much larger impact than we realize. It's not just about feeling lonely. The effects of withdrawing from social life can be serious, even affecting our mental and emotional health. Social connections are vital, especially as we get older. When we interact with others, our minds stay sharp, our emotions stay balanced, and we maintain a sense of belonging. On the other hand, isolation can lead to a higher risk of depression, anxiety, and even dementia. The less we engage with people, the more our world can feel smaller, and over time, this can take a toll on our well-being. Take Dorothy, for example. In her late 70s, Dorothy had become increasingly isolated. Her children had moved far away, and many of her friends were either unable to visit or had passed on. She started to feel that staying home was easier than trying to maintain relationships, and eventually, she found herself spending most of her days alone. At first, it wasn't so noticeable, but over time, Dorothy began to feel more disconnected, less motivated, and her mood started to dip. Her family saw the change and gently encouraged her to try something new. Dorothy was hesitant, but eventually, she joined a local gardening club, something she had always enjoyed. It wasn't easy for her to step out of her comfort zone. At her first meeting, she felt nervous and out of place. But over time, the simple act of meeting people, having conversations, and sharing a hobby helped her reconnect with the world around her. She made new friends, had meaningful conversations, and began looking forward to her weekly meetings. Dorothy's story shows that even when it feels difficult, taking that small step towards social connection can make a world of difference. Staying connected doesn't require huge changes. It can be as simple as a phone call to an old friend, joining a local class or group that interests you, or just going for a walk in the park and striking up a conversation. The key is to break the cycle of isolation before it becomes overwhelming. Socializing not only benefits our mental and emotional health, but also helps keep us engaged with life. So, if you find yourself spending more time alone, think about one small thing you can do today to re-engage with the world around you. Mistake 3. Refusing to adapt to change. Change is hard at any age. It can feel unsettling and even frustrating when things around us keep evolving, especially when it feels like everyone else is keeping up while we're left behind. Technology, new social trends, even day-to-day tasks seem to shift faster than ever before, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But resisting change, whether it's new technology, new ways of doing things, or even new routines, can actually limit your quality of life. The world doesn't slow down because we get older, but that doesn't mean we have to let it pass us by. In fact, adapting to change can open up new opportunities, make life easier, and even improve our relationships. For example, many older adults avoid learning how to use smartphones or computers, believing that technology is just for younger people. But in reality, these tools are powerful ways to stay connected with loved ones, manage everyday tasks, and even enhance personal interests or hobbies. Consider Albert's story. For years, Albert resisted learning how to use a computer. He thought that he was too old to bother with email or online shopping. But after a visit from his granddaughter, who showed him how to use video calls, something shifted. Albert was amazed that he could see his grandchildren's faces even though they lived across the country. Slowly, he started using email to keep in touch with old friends, and even began exploring online grocery shopping. Over time, technology became not just useful but fun. He started to look forward to his video calls and even joined an online book club. Albert's initial resistance turned into newfound confidence, and his life became richer and more connected. It's easy to dismiss technology as something that's not for us, but the truth is, even small changes can make a big difference. It doesn't matter how old you are, there's always something new to learn. Whether it's learning to video chat, paying bills online, or simply getting comfortable with new technology, each step you take to adapt opens up a world of possibilities. You don't have to take it all on at once. In fact, I'd recommend starting small. Maybe try learning one new tool this month, like using your phone's calendar, learning how to make video calls, or even exploring online banking. Once you get comfortable with one thing, it's amazing how much easier it becomes to embrace the next change. And just think about the new connections and opportunities that could open up for you along the way. Adapting to change doesn't mean losing your old ways. It means finding a balance that works for you in today's world. It's never too late to learn, grow, and embrace something new. Mistake 4. Poor financial planning. When we think about retirement, many of us picture the peaceful days spent enjoying the things we love, without the stress of work or financial concerns. But without careful planning, that dream can quickly turn into a reality filled with unexpected bills, stress, and uncertainty. Poor financial planning during retirement is a common mistake, and it's one that can have lasting effects on your quality of life. It's easy to assume that once you retire, your financial worries will be over, but the truth is, retirement can be even more expensive than working years. Healthcare costs, for example, can be unpredictable and high, especially as we get older. Not to mention, inflation can slowly chip away at your purchasing power over time. Without a clear budget, an emergency fund, and a plan for potential medical expenses, your hard-earned savings may not stretch as far as you think. Take Richard's story. He retired at 65, expecting to enjoy his golden years in comfort. But after a few months, he realized he was living paycheck to paycheck. He hadn't anticipated the rising costs of medical care or the fact that his pension didn't cover all his expenses. As bills piled up, Richard felt overwhelmed and started dipping into his savings, which quickly dwindled. It wasn't until he sat down with a financial advisor and created a plan that he began to regain control of his finances. By tracking his expenses, cutting back on unnecessary spending, and setting up a more strategic savings plan for health-related costs, Richard found a way to ease the pressure and protect his future. Planning ahead is key to avoiding this mistake. Financial planning doesn't mean you have to live in constant worry about every penny you spend, but it does mean taking the time to make sure your money is working for you in the long term. Even if you don't have a large retirement fund, there are simple steps you can take to improve your financial situation. 1. Track your spending. Knowing where your money is going is the first step in managing it. By tracking your expenses, you can identify areas where you may be overspending and make adjustments. 2. Create a budget. A budget doesn't have to be complicated. Simply knowing how much you can afford to spend each month on necessities, fun activities, and savings can make a big difference. 3. Plan for healthcare. Medical expenses are often the largest, most unexpected cost in retirement. Make sure you have a healthcare plan, whether it's through insurance or setting aside a dedicated savings fund. 4. Protect yourself from scams. As we get older, we become more vulnerable to financial scams. It's important to stay aware of potential threats and protect your information from fraudulent activity. You don't have to wait until you're facing financial difficulty to take control of your future. Even small adjustments now can have a big impact down the road. Mistake 5. Losing purpose and mental growth. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that as we get older, our purpose fades, or that our mental growth slows down. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, finding purpose and continuing to challenge our minds is one of the most important aspects of maintaining our overall health and happiness as we age. When you lose your sense of purpose, life can start to feel empty. Many seniors face this when they retire or experience changes in their lifestyle. Suddenly, there's no work to focus on, no daily routines to follow, and it can be easy to feel like your contributions don't matter anymore. This loss of purpose can lead to a range of negative emotions, from sadness to anxiety, and it can even affect your physical health. Studies show that those with a strong sense of purpose live longer, healthier lives, and experience fewer physical health problems. It's not just about keeping busy, it's about finding meaning in what you do. Take Georgina's story, for example. Georgina spent decades as a schoolteacher, and after she retired, she struggled with a feeling of purposelessness. She was used to being surrounded by children, guiding them, and watching them grow. Without that daily interaction, she began to feel disconnected and lonely. But everything changed when she took up painting. At first, she only painted a few times a week, but soon it became something she looked forward to every day. Her paintings were beautiful, and even more importantly, they gave her a renewed sense of purpose. Linda joined a local art group, and soon her art was being showcased at local galleries. It wasn't just about the painting itself, but about the new friendships, the creative expression, and the joy of continuing to learn and grow in a new way. We all need something to look forward to, something that ignites our passions and keeps us engaged with the world. Mental growth doesn't stop as we get older. In fact, it's more important than ever to continue learning, whether it's through a hobby, a skill, or an interest you've always wanted to explore. The key is to make the choice to keep growing. Here are a few ways to keep your mind active and your sense of purpose alive. 1. Pursue a new hobby. Whether it's painting, gardening, or learning to play an instrument, there's no age limit to trying something new. Hobbies give you a sense of accomplishment and provide a break from routine. 2. Volunteer. Giving back to your community is a powerful way to find purpose. Whether it's helping at a local food bank, mentoring young people, or working with animals, volunteering gives you a chance to make a difference. 3. Continue learning. It's never too late to learn something new. Take up a course in something you've always been curious about, whether it's history, technology, or even cooking. Learning keeps your brain sharp and encourages growth. 4. Set personal goals. No matter how small they are, setting goals can help you feel more fulfilled. Whether it's writing a letter to an old friend, walking an extra mile every day, or even mastering a new recipe, achieving personal milestones will give you a sense of progress and satisfaction. The important thing to remember is that you are never too old to grow. Purpose and mental stimulation are the keys to aging with joy, and the benefits go far beyond just keeping busy. They are the foundation for a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Taking care of yourself, physically, emotionally, financially, and mentally, isn't something that stops when you reach a certain age. In fact, it's more important than ever. The 5 mistakes we've looked at are real issues that can impact your well-being, but they are also opportunities for change. Each one can be addressed, and small changes today can lead to a brighter, more fulfilling tomorrow. Whether it's getting more active, staying connected with others, embracing technology, managing your finances, or finding purpose in new passions. These are things that anyone can do at any point in their life. You don't have to do everything at once, but each positive step will build on the last and help create a life that's not only longer but richer in meaning. Which mistake stood out to you the most? Was there one that resonated with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences matter, and they might just help someone else who's going through the same thing. If you found these tips helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's keep inspiring each other to live our best lives, no matter where we are on our journey.